There's a river in Florida that's 60 miles wide, 100 miles long, and moves so slowly you can't even see it move. It's called the Everglades, and there is nothing else like it on Earth. Most people think it's just a swamp. It's not. It's a river of grass, and it's one of America's greatest national parks. Today, I'm taking you through the Everglades 4 ways: free, budget, mid-range, and luxury. Whether you want to see it on $20 or spend a couple of nights sleeping right on the water, I've got you covered. First, the free side. Now, getting a car into the park costs $35, and that pass is good for 7 full days. So if you're staying a while, it works out at just a few dollars a day. And if you've got the $80 America the Beautiful pass, you're already covered here and at every other national park in the country for a year. Once you're inside, the best things cost nothing extra. The Anhinga Trail near the Homestead entrance is a flat, easy boardwalk where you'll see alligators sunning themselves just feet away, turtles gliding under the surface, and more birds than you can name. All on a walk that's gentle enough for anybody. A little farther in, the Pa-hay-okee Overlook is a short boardwalk that opens up onto the sawgrass running flat to the horizon. And it's one of the great views in Florida. The drive down to Flamingo is free with your pass too. And it's one of the great drives in America. The land shifts from pine woods to open coastal prairie. And by the end, you feel like you've reached the very edge of the country. Pull over at the overlooks, watch the sawgrass glow in the low light, and you'll understand why they fought so hard to protect this place. There's also the brand new Marjory Stoneman Douglas Visitor Center near the main entrance, which opened in January of 2026. Free to walk through, with exhibits that finally do this landscape justice. And all through the dry season, the park rangers run free walks and talks that are worth building your day around. If you're new here, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm working through all 50 states from completely free to absolute luxury, and you'll want to be along for the ride. Over at theearnesttraveler.com, I've got a free ultimate adventure planner. Budget calculators, packing checklists, the whole thing. Links in the description. The complete travel guide for this video is down there too, with everything we cover in one spot. Stick around to the end. I'll tell you my single favorite pick from this whole video, the one I'd put at the top of my list if it were my trip. So that's the free side. Now let's talk budget, because the Everglades might be the best value in the whole national park system. Let's start with the airboats, because you cannot come here and not do this. There are 3 companies allowed to run airboats inside the park boundary: Coopertown, Everglades Safari Park, and Gator Park. A tour runs about $30 to $50 a person and lasts 30 to 40 minutes, and it is worth every cent. You skim across the water at speed with the wind in your face, and then the guide cuts the engine and you're sitting in dead silence in the middle of the marsh with alligators gliding past just off the side of the boat. There's nothing like it. For a little more, the Shark Valley Tram Tour is the other budget star. It's about a 2-hour ride on a 15-mile loop, with a guide pointing out wildlife the whole way. And it ends at an observation tower with a view over the entire river of grass. If you'd rather move under your own steam, you can rent a bike at Shark Valley and pedal that same flat loop at your own pace. Book the tram weeks ahead in the dry season because it fills up fast. There's a whole other side of the park too. Over on the Gulf Coast at Everglades City, you can take a cheap boat tour into the 10,000 Islands, or rent a kayak and paddle the calm water yourself past the mangroves. Now, where do you sleep on a budget? This is my favorite part. The park has campgrounds, Long Pine Key up near the main entrance, and the big one down at Flamingo. And at Flamingo, they've also got eco tents. Those are elevated glamping tents with a real bed, electricity, and screens to keep the bugs out. You're sleeping right there on Florida Bay for a fraction of a hotel. Prices move around by season, so check the link in the description for current rates. Bring a good pair of shoes and you can even join a ranger-led slough slog, where you wade right out into the cypress in a few inches of water. It's free, it's unforgettable, and it's about as close as you'll ever get to the living heart of the Everglades. And here's the budget secret. Come in the dry season, roughly December through April. The water drops, the wildlife crowds into the remaining pools, and the mosquitoes back off. You'll see 10 times the animals for the same price. You thought the airboat was good? Wait until you're standing on the Flamingo shoreline at dusk watching the birds come in by the hundreds. Alright, let's step it up to the mid-range because this is where the Everglades gets comfortable. The centerpiece of the mid-range is the brand new Flamingo Lodge. The old one was wiped out by hurricanes years ago, and they finally rebuilt it. 24 modern rooms right on Florida Bay. with kitchenettes and balconies looking out over the water. Nightly rates start around $159 in the summer season and $259 in the winter high season, plus tax. For a room inside a national park at the very edge of the continent, that is a genuine deal. Staying at Flamingo changes the whole trip. You're not driving an hour each way anymore. You wake up on the water, you catch the sunrise over the bay, and you're right there for the early morning wildlife when the park is at its best and its emptiest. The mid-range is also where you add the guided experiences. A backcountry boat tour out of the Flamingo Marina takes you into the mangrove tunnels and out toward the bay, where you might see crocodiles, manatees, and dolphins all in one afternoon. A guided kayak trip lets you paddle the quiet water yourself with somebody who knows exactly where the wildlife hides. And you can rent a small skiff or a canoe right there at the marina and explore the nearby coves on your own. Fishing is a big deal out here too. Book a half-day charter out of the Flamingo Marina, and a local guide will run you onto Florida Bay after snook, redfish, and tarpon, baiting the hooks and cleaning your catch at the end. Even if you've never fished a day in your life, they'll set you right up. Don't overlook the little town of Everglades City on the Gulf Coast side either. It's the gateway to the 10,000 islands, and a boat tour out of there is a completely different Everglades. All water and mangrove islands and open gulf. A stone crab lunch in season is the local specialty and worth the drive on its own. The whole town practically runs on it. And on your way in or out, stop at Robert is Here, the famous old roadside fruit stand near the homestead entrance, and get a key lime or guava milkshake made from fruit grown right there. It's a Florida institution and a perfect end to a hot day in the park. The mid-range Everglades is about waking up inside the park instead of just visiting it. You thought a day trip was good? Wait until you spend the night out here where the sky goes truly dark and the stars come all the way down to the water. And now the luxury tier, which out here means something a little different than a fancy hotel. The Everglades doesn't have 5-star resorts inside it, and honestly, that's the point. So luxury here is about buying the best of your time and your space. It's booking one of the Flamingo Lodge's larger suites, the 1- and 2-bedroom units with the best views straight out over the bay. It's hiring a private guide for a full day, somebody who's fished and paddled this water for decades and can take you where the crowds never go. Luxury out here is a private charter deep into the backcountry with a naturalist who knows every bird call and every gator hole. It's a private sunset cruise on Florida Bay with the water glassy and pink and not another boat in sight. It's a dedicated photography guide who puts you in exactly the right light at exactly the right hour. It's slowing all the way down and letting an expert hand you the park on your own schedule. Out here, that kind of quiet, guided access is what real luxury looks like. So there's the Everglades, 4 ways. Free gets you the boardwalks and one of America's great drives. Budget gets you the airboats and a night in an eco-tent. Mid-range gets you a room on the bay and the guided tours. And luxury gets you a private expert in the park to yourself. Now let me ask you, have you ever seen a wild alligator up close? Tell me about it in the comments. I want to hear the story. And that favorite pick I promised. Out of this whole park, the one I'd put at the top of my list is sleeping at Flamingo, that little lodge at the literal end of the road where the mainland runs out and Florida Bay begins. Waking up there, with the water on 3 sides and the birds waking up right along with you, is as close to the edge of the world as you can get and still be in America. That's the one. Next time, we're chasing Florida's hidden gems, the crystal springs and secret towns the tourists drive right past. Until then, keep it earnest, and I'll see you on the road.